Hello, good morning everyone. This is Loknath Reddy, Assistant Professor of Physics, Annamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Tirupati. Today, we are going to learn Unit 4, Chapter 2, Fiber Optics, Complete 1. So here no parts, no part 1, no part 2. So it is complete chapter. So before going to study about this, we should know the course outcome of this chapter. The course outcome of optical fiber optics is apply the propagation of electromagnetic waves through the optical fiber for different applications, for different or various applications. So coming to this content of the fiber optics consists of 6 major parts, 6 major contents. First one, introduction to the optical fiber. Second one, total internal reflection and construction of optical fiber. Third one, acceptance angle, acceptance cone and numerical aperture of an optical fiber. Fourth one, classification of optical fibers. Fifth one, block diagram of optical fiber communication system. And also finally, sixth one, applications of optical fibers. These 6 concepts we are going to study now. Next one, introduction to the fiber optics. So here the development in the field of communication and information technology demand and transmission of data over longer distances is very easy. Fiber optic technology is increasingly replacing right transmission lines in communication system and is expected to be common as electrical wiring even in our vehicles and house very shortly. Optical fiber lines offer several important advantages over wire lines. Optical fibers are light, equivalent of microwave guides with the advantage of very high bandwidth and here very high information carrying capacity. Though at the beginning of fiber optic communication systems were more expensive than equivalent wire or radio system. Now the situation has changed very much. Fiber optic systems have become competitive with other systems in price and eventually started replacing them. Fiber optics, simply we can say that fiber optics is a branch of optics which deals with the study of propagation of information in the form of light rays through transparent dielectric optical fibers. Here, for information, if you want to transfer the information from one place to another place, light waves we are using for the communication purpose. That light waves are generally guided by using dielectric materials. The dielectric material is nothing but optical fiber. So, the term optical fiber was first coined by N.S. Kapani. Coming to the general meaning of optical fiber, the word fiber comes from Latin fibra, which means a thin thread like a piece of material. Therefore, optical fiber means a thin thread like piece of visible material. Optical fiber is a thin and transparent guiding dielectric medium or material which guides or transmits the information as light waves using the principle of total internal reflection. So coming to the exact definition of optical fiber. Optical fiber is a thin and transparent guiding medium or material which guides the information carrying light waves. Next, the principle of optical fiber is total internal reflection. John Tyndall, a British scientist, observed that the propagation of light through the optical fiber will be in the form of multiple total internal reflections. So coming to the second content of this chapter is total internal reflection. Total internal reflection and construction of optical fiber. So in this we are going to study about what is total internal reflection, how the total internal reflection happens, and construction of optical fiber. So what are the basic parts of optical fiber that we are going to study here. So coming to the total internal reflection, see the diagram. So this diagram consists of three parts. First diagram we are going to see, first part. This is the first part. Here we have one vertical line, one horizontal line. So that horizontal line is separating two media. One is denser medium, other one is rarer medium. So when the light incident and this light incident in the medium, and this incident light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, then we can have angle of incidence, that is I, and subsequently the light ray passes from denser medium to rarer medium with the angle of refractance is taken as R. So angle of incidence I, angle of refraction is R. Here we can consider that N1 is greater than N2. N1 is called as refractive index of the denser medium. N2 is called as refractive index of the rarer medium. So we can have incident light ray, refracted light ray. And theta c is called as critical angle. So consider a light ray passing from a denser medium to a rarer medium, assuming that N1 is greater than N1 to N2, and that the angle of incidence refraction with respect to the normal to the interface are I and R respectively. This horizontal line is called interface, which separates denser medium and rarer medium. So if you apply Snell's law for this, we can write N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. So applying from Snell's law, we can write N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. We already know that Snell's law is nothing but it is the ratio between sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction. Sin I by sin R is equal to mu. That mu is nothing but n here. So that's why based on that Snell's law we can write N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin R. Next, coming to the second diagram, here the refracted ray bends away from the normal, and if you increase the angle of incidence, then that angle of refraction also increases and becomes 90 degrees. At particular angle of incidence, angle of refraction becomes 90 degrees, and the refracted ray passes through the interface. This angle I is equal to theta c is called as critical angle. Critical angle. Here R becomes pi by 2. That is 90 degrees. So if the angle of incidence is further increased, see the third diagram. So if you increase the angle of incidence, then what happens? Then the light ray has no longer refracted, but it is reflected back into the same medium. That is denser medium. So this is called total internal reflection. What is total internal reflection? See the definition. If or when a light ray travels from denser medium to rarer medium and angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, then the light ray reflects totally and enters into the denser medium. Then this phenomena is called as total internal reflection. So When I is equal to theta c, then R becomes 90 degrees. So this is happening in case of figure 2. So from that we can write n1 sin theta c is equal to n2 sin 90. From this sin theta c becomes n2 by n1 and theta c is equal to sin inverse of n2 by n1. Next concept, conditions for total internal reflection. So if the total internal reflection needs to be happen, we have some conditions. First one, the light ray should move from denser medium to rarer medium. Second point, when angle of incidence I is less than critical angle theta c, then the light ray refracts into the rarer medium. When I is equal to theta c, then the refracted light ray passes along the interface which is separating two media. When I is greater than theta c, the light ray completely reflected back into the denser medium and we get total internal reflection. So these are the conditions to get total internal reflection. Next, coming to the optical fiber structure and construction. This optical fiber is a cylindrical layer, completely cylindrical layer. So as shown in figure, the optical fiber mainly consists of following 6 parts. That 6 parts are nothing but core and cladding. Second part, silicon coating. Third part, buffer jacket. Fourth part, strength members. And fifth part, black polyurethane outer jacket. We can write core and cladding as a separate topics also sometimes. First one, core and cladding. So an optical fiber consists of a central cylindrical material layer called core with high refractive index N1, surrounded by a second cylindrical material layer called cladding with a layer of refractive index N2. So the core is the inner part of the fiber which guides or transmits the light, and cladding keeps the light waves within the core because the refractive index of the cladding is less than that of the core. Here core acts as denser medium and cladding acts as rarer medium. The core and cladding are made of either plastic or glass. So coming to the second part, silicon coating. So silicon coating, it is provided between the cladding and buffer jacket in order to improve the, so see here, it is between buffer jacket and the cladding. Silicon coating is in between buffer jacket and the cladding. So what is the use of this one? In order to improve the quality of transmission light. So quality of transmission of light will be improved or quality will be increased by using this silicon coating. That means silicon, we are coating with silicon. And the third part is buffer jacket. So this is the buffer jacket. This part is called as buffer jacket. So it is covered over silicon coating which is made up of plastic material which protects the fiber from moisture and abrasion. So there should be some threat because of moisture and abrasion for this. That's why if you want to protect that, then we can use buffer jacket. Next one, strength members. Strength member is here. It is above the buffer jacket. Strength member is here. So it is, this layer is arranged over a buffer jacket to provide necessary toughness and tensile strength to the optical fiber. And last one is black polyurethane outer jacket. Finally, a black polyurethane outer layer is provided to the optical fiber to avoid the damages during hard pulling, bending, stretching or rolling of the optical fiber. So this is about optical fiber construction. Next concept, acceptance angle, acceptance cone and numerical aperture. For this, let us see the diagram. So this is the optical fiber diagram. Here outer layer is nothing but cladding, inner layer is core, an axis which is passing through the fiber axis. See the fiber axis here, a horizontal axis which is passing through the central part of the core is called fiber axis. So let us consider a cross-sectional view of an optical fiber. So this diagram represents cross-sectional view of an optical fiber. It consists of core of refractive index N1 and cladding of refractive index N2. So here N0 be the refractive index of the air medium. Here air medium is available, air medium. Refractive index of the air medium is taken as N0, and which is the optical fiber is placed here. The incident light ray travels from, see here, the incident light ray travels from along A0, here A is available, A, O, and enters into the core at an angle theta, I. Here theta I is called as angle of incidence. So if in the core it travels along AB, that light ray travels along AB and incident at the point B and core cladding interface. So let theta be the angle at point B. So here theta is nothing but angle of incidence at point B, angle of incidence. When theta is greater than the critical angle theta C, then the total internal reflection takes place into the core and it is incident at the point B on the core cladding interface. So when theta is greater than critical angle, then the total internal reflection takes place into the core and light takes the path B to D. Okay, B to D here. Due to the multiple total internal reflections, the propagation of light ray takes place through the optical fiber. So applying Snell's law to a core here, N0 sin theta is equal to N1 sin theta R. Here we can have two interfaces. One is core air interface, another one is core cladding interface. So coming to the core air interface, we are writing N0 sin theta I is equal to N1 sin theta R. It is taken as equation number 1. Let a normal BC, so this is the BC, let a BC normal is drawn here. So this is the normal. So due to the multiple total internal reflections, the propagation of light ray takes place through the optical fiber. That's why we can apply Snell's law. N0 sin theta is equal to N1 sin theta R. We are also drawing a normal BC here. That's why from triangle ABC, it is a triangle. From the triangle, we can write theta R plus theta is equal to 90 degrees. From that, theta R is equal to 90 minus theta, that is equation 2. Substituting the above equation in equation 1, we get n0 sin theta is equal to n1 sin theta of sin of 90 minus theta. So sin of 90 minus theta is cos theta. That's why n0 sin theta is equal to n1 cos theta. So to get total internal reflection for core cladding interface at point B, then the incident angle theta should be greater than the or is equal to the theta c. So here theta c is called as critical angle. Let the maximum angle at point A will be theta is equal to theta A. Theta is equal to theta A, for which theta is greater than or equal to theta c. From equation 3, we get n0 sin theta A is equal to n1 cos theta c. So, but sin theta A is equal to n1 by n0 into cos theta c. That is taken as equation number 4. But sin theta c is equal to n2 by n1. And also cos theta c is equal to square root of 1 minus sin square theta c. We already know that cos square theta c plus sin square theta c is equal to 1. From that we get, which is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square divided by n1 square, which is equal to this denominator square root of n1 square becomes n1. That's why which is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square by n1. This is taken as equation number 5. So we are going to substitute equation 5 in equation 4. We get sin theta A is equal to n1 by n0 into square root of n1 square minus n2 square by n1. This is equation number 6. For air medium, refractive index is always 1. That's why n0 is equal to 1. So sin theta A is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square becomes, because n0 is 1. And here n1 will be cancelled in equation number 6. So finally we get sin theta A is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square. This is equation number 7. So from that theta A is equal to sin inverse of square root of n1 square minus n2 square. This is equation number 8. So this equation 8 represents, which represents acceptance angle. So what is the basic definition of acceptance angle? The maximum angle at which the light can suffer total internal reflection is called as acceptance angle. So which I have marked with red color. So acceptance cone. So acceptance cone is here. The symbol of the cone is here. We can observe this cone here, semi-vertical axis here. So this we can represent rotating the acceptance angle about the fiber axis. We get an incident light cone with semi-vertical angle. This incident this incident light cone at core of an optical fiber will be accepted by the fiber for guidance through it, and it is known as acceptance cone. Next, numerical aperture. The formula is Na is equal to sin theta A is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square. We already seen here. Same this formula, equation 8 we can write. Same equation will be for numerical aperture also. And this is defined by using fractional index delta. The value of delta is n1 minus n2 by n1. That is equation 10. From equation 9 we can have n1 minus n2 is equal to delta n1. Substituting 10 in 11 we get Nu is equal to square root of By simplifying this, we get numerical aperture is equal to n1 into square root of 2 delta. So this is the relation between numerical aperture and fractional index change. Next concept, classification of optical fibers. Fourth concept. So classification of optical fibers. Based on type of material used in the core and cladding, optical fibers can be classified into two types. That is, one is glass fiber and other one is plastic fiber. So in optical fibers are made by fusing mixtures of metal oxides and silicon glasses, then it is known as glass fiber. The resulting material is randomly connected by molecular network rather than the well-defined order structures as found in the crystalline materials. The most common material used in this glass fiber is silica or oxide glasses also. It has a refractive index generally 1.458 at 850 nanometer. To produce two similar materials having slightly different indices of refraction for the core and cladding, either fluorine or various oxides such as B2O3, GeO2, P2O5 are added to silica. Some of the examples are given here: GeO2 SiO2 core, SiO2 cladding, P2O5 SiO2 core, SiO2 cladding, SiO2 core, P2O5 SiO2 cladding. Like that, different examples are here. So next one is plastic fibers. So plastic fibers are nothing but the plastic fibers are typically made up of plastics, so which are very low cost and can be easily handled. Maintenance is very easy, so without special care we can easily maintain that one, and it has toughness and durability. Examples of plastic fibers are polystyrene core and methyl methacrylate cladding, polymethyl methacrylate core and its copolymer acts as cladding. And again, based on variation of refractive index on the core of an optical fiber, optical fibers are classified into two types. They are step index optical fiber and graded index optical fiber. Again, based on number of paths available for the light rays inside the core, these optical fibers further divided into two types. They are single mode and multi-mode optical fibers. Coming to the step index optical fiber, so see this diagram. First diagram indicates step index, single mode step index optical fiber. So in a step index optical fiber, the refractive index of the core remains constant throughout the core and decreases from step to step n1 to n2 at the core cladding interface. This is known as step index optical fiber. The transmission of the information will be in the form of signals or pulses. So input signal is given here. So refractive index profile is also available in the figure. So for the step index optical fiber, a single light ray from the signal enters into the fiber and traverses through the single path, and we get the output signal. So in this case, two signals match with each other as shown in figure here. Here input signal is given, here output signal is taken. In a multi-mode step index optical fiber, due to large width of the core, greater number of light rays will be entered into the core, and input signals entered into the core takes multiple paths as shown in figure here. So let light ray 1 and light ray 2, here light ray 1 and light ray 2 are entered into the core part, and the light ray 1, which greater angle with the fiber axis, suffers more reflections through the fiber and takes more time to traverse the optical fiber, whereas the light ray 2 makes less angle with the fiber axis, suffers less number of reflections, and with a short time it traverses the optical fiber. So here, as the output of we retrieve here, so coming to 1 and 2 here, output output end we receive light ray 2 first and light ray 1 next. So due to this path difference between the light rays, they superimpose with each other and the output signals will be overlapped. In this case, we get signal distortion, that is called intermodal dispersion. So it is completely reflective type. Because of multiple reflections, it moves to the optical fiber. And the number of possible propagation modes in the core can be given by V number. So that is V equal to 2 pi by lambda into NA. Here lambda is called wavelength of light, A is called radius of the core, NA is called numerical aperture. So number of modes through the step index optical fiber is V square by 2. And for coming to the graded index optical fiber, here in graded index optical fiber, the refractive index of the core decreases from fiber axis to the fiber axis. Here fiber axis, this dotted line. So it decreases from dotted line fiber axis to the cladding surface in the parabolic manner. So the shape is here parabolic. So when a light ray enters into the core and moves towards the cladding interface, it encounters a more and more rarer medium due to the decrease of refractive index. As a result, the light ray bends more away from the normal and finally bends towards the axis and moves the core cladding interface at the bottom. Again, it bends it in the upward direction. Thus, the light ray adjusts their velocities due to the variation of refractive index and coming to the focus in the same point. As a result, all the light rays will be received at the same time here. So there is no overlap between input signals and output signals. That's why we are unable to get intermodal dispersion and as well as signal distortion here. The number of possible modes through the fiber is V square by 4. But in case of single mode and multi-mode step index optical fiber, V square by 2, here V square by 4. And the next concept, block diagram of optical fiber communication system. Coming to this block diagram of optical fiber communication system, so it consists of source of information, electrical transmit, optical source, optical fiber cable as transmission medium, photodetector, electric discharge, electric stage, and as well as finally destination. So coming to these basic parts of the optical fiber, first one, transmitter. What is transmitter? It is the combination of source of information, electrical transmit, and optical source. Second one, optical fiber cable, that is optical fiber cable as transmission medium. And last one, receiver. So for example, if you want to talk with your or speak with your friend through cell phone, if you are using cell phone is the transmitter. Your friend is receiving your phone call, it is the receiver. In between your friend and you, some medium should be there. That medium is taken as optical fiber medium. So coming to this transmitter, the information signal source may be audio, video, data, or whatever it may be, which is analog form to the transmitted. It is converted into analog to signal, electrical signal. The transmitter consists of drive circuit and a light source, that is electrical transmit. So the drive circuit transfer the electric input signal into the digital pulses by using light source, LED or laser. It converts that into optical pulses, that is light signals, and are focused into the optical fiber. And second one, fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cable acts as a transmitter and it acts as a wave guide and transmits the optical pulses towards the receiver by the principle of total internal reflection. Next, last part of the optical fiber communication is receiver. So the receiver consists of a photodetector, amplifier, that is electric stage, destination, all the things. Here the photodetector receives the optical pulses and converts into the electrical pulses. Further, the signals are amplified by the amplifier in the electrical stage, and finally the electrical signals are decoded, so it is converted into digital to analog form. Finally, original signal is obtained here in the form of analog signals. This is the basic diagram of optical fiber communication system. And last one, applications of optical fiber. We can have different applications according to our syllabus. We have 3 types of applications of optical fibers: communication, medical, and sensor applications. So in communication, local area network, and for long haul communication, they are used for exchange of information in cable television, space vehicles, submarines. Nearly 10,000 information carrying signals can be transmitted simultaneously through the optical fiber, and they are used for guiding weapons and submarines in the communication systems. So during the wartime, they are used for secret communication purposes. And second one, medical applications. This here optical fibers are used for diagnosis of interior of lungs, stomach, and other human body parts. Here, optical fibers are used in photodynamic therapy for cancer, for treatment of lung disorders, treatment of bleeding ulcers, and also arthroscopic surgery for damaged cartilage, ligaments, and tendons in the major joints such as knees and shoulders. And also optical fibers are used in investigation of heart, respiratory systems, and also remaining medical applications. And last one, sensor application. So sensor applications are nothing but, so the sensor application consists of a light source, optical fiber, and detector. So here, for example, if you want to measure temperature, pressure, flow, liquid level, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, rotation, vibration, radiation, pH, humidity, strain, acoustic fields, electric fields, and magnetic fields, etc. So for measuring this type of physical parameters, we can use this optical fiber as a sensor material, because it consists of light source. That equipment consists of light source, optical fiber, and detector. So an optical fiber sensor consists of light source which generates light signals. These light signals passes through the optical fiber in the form of total internal reflection, and the detector receives the information. The variation in the light signal is caused by sensing field, and it is detected by the detector. So the final output will be given. Thank you. So thank you for your attention. So this chapter 2 of unit 4 is completed, and once again I am repeating contents here. First content, introduction to the optical fiber. Second one, total internal reflection and the construction of optical fiber. Third one, optical fiber structure and construction. Fourth one, acceptance angle, acceptance cone, and numerical aperture. Fourth one, classification of optical fibers. Fifth one, block diagram of optical fiber system. Sixth one, applications of optical fibers. Thank you very much.